Hello friends, my name is AJ and welcome back to another video. It has been quite a while since I have recorded and posted a video on the channel. It has been a few months and as a senior in high school, there's been a lot of things going on relating to college, and that is what I have been putting a lot of attention into. However, a lot of that is winding down as I have pretty much chosen a college, and I've done a lot of some of the forms and all of the necessary things for that, so I will be able to record and post many more videos in the future. And in addition, because I will be going to college, I would love to make a few videos relating to that in addition to the computer science and technology videos that I have been making on this channel, so definitely stay tuned for that. There should be a regular upload schedule coming up very soon, as I will be restarting posting videos, hopefully weekly, on the channel. Alright, so in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the AP Computer Science 2021 exam. I know that I have made a lot of videos on the on all of the different units of computer science, as well as having some review for the 2020 exam, and I just wanted to make a quick brief update regarding the 2021 exam, if there have been any changes, and if some of the old information applies, especially since I've gotten a lot of comments with questions relating on this topic in the comment section of many of the different videos. Alright, so we're going to be going over some of the new changes with the 2021 exam and what to expect. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. Now, I'm on the AP Students website, apstudents.collegeboard.org, and I'm on the AP Computer Science A course. A lot of the information that I'll be going over today is on this website, and while this website is quite comprehensive, there is a lot of information on it, so I think by going over it and talking about certain things, it'll be very, very helpful. This video is just an overall everything you need to know for the 2021 exam. So the first thing that I want to talk about is probably the most major thing and the thing that most people know, and that is the dates for this particular exam. There are 3 administrations because, of course, this is during the entire coronavirus still, and they have a little bit more of accommodations, right? So they have 3 different sessions. They have Administration 1, 2, and 3. Now, Administration 1 already happened 10 days ago. That was on May 6th, and that was a in-school paper exam. So for the people who've already taken that exam, you've already completed both sections, you know exactly how the test was, and I hope that everybody did very well, and the scores should be coming out in June or July. They actually have a website, or they have a link in here that will tell you when you will get your scores. So pretty much the administrations that will be coming up, and where probably majority of the people will be taking their exam, are going to be either session 2 or session 3. Like, for example, I know that my school is doing administration 3. However, there are many schools around in the same area that are doing 2. So it really depends on your school. And for that, you will have to check with your school to figure out which administration you're actually going to be taking the exam. Now, if you're taking Administration 2, that is coming up very soon. That is in 2 days, Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. That's part of the reason why I wanted to record this video now rather than later. The exam is going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is 2 options. There is a digital, in-school, and at-home option. So pretty much the in-school option is actually going to be on the computer rather than on paper, and you can take the exam at home. And there are some changes regarding the at-home exams compared to last year's, which was an only FRQ exam. 2 questions, I'm pretty sure, was the entire test for people, and how it was in 2019 and earlier, where there was a multiple choice and FRQ section. And between the Administration 2, which is on May 18th, and also the 3rd administration, which is on June 1st, also at 4 p.m., a little bit later, these 2 formats are the exact same. It's just going to be at a different date. Also, one thing I do want to mention is that College Board has pretty much made it clear that there will be different questions between, Administration 1, Administration 2, and Administration 3. So even if you think that you have a friend in some other administration and you try to ask them about the exam, don't do that, and you won't get any reasonable help anyway, because all the exam questions will be different in between all the different sections. All right, so those are kind of the dates between the exams, and this information you probably already know. It's probably already on your calendar. Now, in terms of the structure of the exam, and there are 2 tabs on this website, we can go to the About the Exam section. There is if I scroll down, there is a multiple choice and a free response section. This is the same structure of the exam that I took in 2019. Yeah, it was 2019 when I took this particular exam, and pretty much earlier. So all of the people who have taken it in person, this is the same structure. You have a 40-question multiple choice section that is 90 minutes long and accounts for 50% of your score. You also have a 4-question free response section, and of course those 4 questions may have multiple parts in them. That is also 90 minutes, and there are 50% of your score as well. And what we can do is we can kind of click on these, and you can see some more information. Now, a lot of times this stuff may not mean too much in terms of the description for the multiple choice section. You know, you may have to determine the required code segments to produce a given output, right? Identify the output. Analyze the program for errors, or describe kind of the behaviors that lead results in a program. All of this is it's not necessarily vague, and it's actually very good information, but you may have already seen pretty much all of these types of questions if you have done any review on something such as AP Classroom. Okay, then over here, this is actually the part that is very, very, very specific, and this is actually very good if you're trying to practice for this exam. Unlike other AP exams, the AP Computer Science exam, the FRQs actually have set topics for question 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is very, very good information. Question 1 is methods and control structures. And this section will pretty much, as you can see here, it says you'll be asked to write program code to create objects of a class and call methods, satisfy method expectations, conditional statements, and iterative statements. Pretty much, this question is going to be your Unit 1 to Unit 4 material. All of the material in Unit 1, 2, 3, and 4 could be tested. What do I mean by that? Like Unit 4 with loops, as you can see, that is what iterative statements refers to. Unit 3 with if-else statements, and those are conditional statements. Expressions, maybe math or string, using strings and objects from Unit 2, and Unit 1 with integer math or, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction of numbers. All of those things could be on question 1. And again, like I said, Unit 1 through Unit 4. Now, I actually have a few videos for review on methods and control structures types of questions specifically, which you can check out in the playlist for AP Computer Science. And that is because last year in the 2-question FRQ exam, which was, the way that you took the exam and got your score, the 2 questions they asked were method and control structures, and then array and array list questions. So 1 question here, the 2nd question was this. So I actually went over some review for this particular type of question. And what you can also do is if you find the released FRQs, this structure pretty much applies. So you can go to 2019, 2018, 2017, and go to question 1 and try doing it. And that will be a very similar types of questions in terms of the content between all the different exams. So that is question 1. Question 2 is classes, and this is the one where most people struggle the most because this is the most open-ended. You're writing a class completely from the start, and this is going to be completely Unit 5 material, and this could actually be Unit 1 through Unit 5. You're pretty much taking all the stuff from this question, but now adding Unit 5 material to that. And again, Unit 5 is writing classes. So everything from all the different keywords, the structure of the class, methods, you can have methods, you have fields, you have the constructor. All of those things are going to be very important for you to know how to write. Again, this is a question that majority of people kind of trip up on because of all of those technicalities, right? The keywords, you have to write a lot more. It's less kind of answering a question within a class. They may ask you to write a certain function or something or a certain method in all of these other questions, but here you're writing the entire class. And for that reason, a lot of people find this question difficult. However, luckily, just like with question 1, if you go to question 2 of all of the released exams pretty much, you will find a question that is asking you to write a class. So there's a lot of practice you can do, and that will be very, very helpful for the exam. Now, question 3 is array and array list, and I also have videos on this particular question type because, again, this was the question type for the 2020 exam. It says that you'll be asked to write code to satisfy method specifications and create, traverse, and manipulate elements in an array or array list. All this means is pretty much this is going to be Unit 6 and Unit 7 material, which is arrays and array list. Make sure you know how to create arrays, you know how to traverse arrays, basically meaning either looping through arrays or reading the array's elements, and also manipulate elements, meaning edit, or kind of either add on to arrays or how to edit items inside of an array list. Make sure that you know all of those things and you will do very well on question 3. It is usually quite intuitive if you have an understanding of array and array list. The last type of question are 2D arrays, and this is Unit 8 in the curriculum, and you'll be asked to write a program and pretty much create, traverse, and manipulate elements in a 2D array. So all you're doing is you're doing pretty much what you did in question 3, but now you're doing it instead of on a one-dimensional array, you're doing it on a two-dimensional array. So if you may not remember some things with arrays or array list, or you may, kind of need to brush up on some skills, I definitely recommend doing a little bit of review of Unit 8. Now, also to kind of talk about this, I have videos for every single unit, review videos from Unit 1 all the way through Unit 10, including the kind of another video for Unit 0, if you will, which is just the the number systems, so like binary, octal, hexadecimal, all of those things, which you may remember all the way from like your first week of computer science. I'm pretty sure they could ask a question on the exam on that. If I remember correctly, there may have been one. I honestly, it's been quite a while, but if you do see it, it may only be like 1 or 2 questions, but it is something, to look over and kind of just know. It's not that difficult of a concept, and if you just do a little bit of practice converting some numbers, you will be perfectly fine for that section. All right, so that is pretty much the structure. And again, I really recommend you look at the FRQ structure because they literally tell you, like in most exams, you may, not be sure, what they're going to ask on an FRQ. But for AP Computer Science, the benefit is you know exactly what they're going to ask you. You know exactly what units and what you need to do for every single question. Just the situation and the way they ask you to apply that knowledge will be different depending on, when you take the exam or what year you take the exam. But of course, you'll go into the exam knowing exactly what's going to be question 1, question 2, question 3, and question 4. And that is something that is very, 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 very useful to know. All right. Now, if I go over to the About the Course section again, and you scroll down, you'll see this About the Units page. And so if you're not really sure or you need to brush up on some things or do I know everything in that unit or did I forget something to study, definitely recommend looking at this. If you go on the drop downs here, they tell you exactly what you need to know for each unit, as well as the component of the exam score. And this is something which is quite interesting. So if you look 2.5% to 5%, well, if you know that the multiple choice section is 40 questions, and you do a little bit of math there, you may actually know exactly how many questions even on the multiple choice section are going to be for every unit, pretty much. So, you can look at this and you can see when you drop down these items, you'll see that Unit 3, Unit 4, these are much more heavily tested than something like Unit 1 or Unit 2, which of course makes sense because for computer science, unlike other topics, everything builds on one another, right? Like if you can't really do anything in loops, for example, you can't really do anything in arrays, for example, if you don't understand loops, because without a loop, you're never going to be able to go and read all the items in your array without having to access every single item manually, right? So there are a lot of things that kind of build on each other in computer science. So even though you may go over here to loops, or array, my apologies, you can see here that it's 10% to 15%, but this may include items from, Unit 4. As you can see right here, it says traversing an array by accessing elements using iteration statements. This is Unit 4, right? So even though the question may be classified under arrays, you may still use some knowledge from other units to kind of connect everything together. And again, if you have any, if you're not really sure or you need some practice on one of these units, I definitely recommend. I have videos for all these units as well as the practice questions. Also, your teacher may have, given you AP Classroom access, and AP Classroom gives you questions pretty much that are written by them. So that'll be very good practice for the multiple choice section of the exam. All right. Now, one thing that I also want to talk about here is the difference between the in-person and the digital exams. And the main one being that you won't be able to go back and see previous questions on the digital exam. That is something that I'm sure may cause a lot of stress to a lot of people, because, once you choose a question, you're never going to see it again, right? Or once you choose an answer and you move to the next question, the question is gone, it is submitted, pretty much you're not going to be able to go backward. And that is something which, a lot of people will find a little concerning, because in a paper exam, you can just look back and you can, let's say you remember something down the road, or, something in another question reminds you of a topic and you're like, oh wait, that question should have been this. You go back, you can change it. Or let's say, you're stuck on a question, you can look in the future to see, will I have enough time to actually answer those questions? Should I just skip this question? Or, can I afford to stay on this question for a little bit longer? All of those testing or test-taking strategies are kind of thrown out the window for this particular exam, which is a little unfortunate. But what I recommend is that, if you see that the test is 90 minutes for 40 questions down here, right? 90 minutes for 40 questions, or 90 minutes for 4 FRQs, I recommend just dividing this evenly, right? And say that, okay, I'm allowed a certain amount of minutes for every question. And once I go beyond that, I should just, choose the best answer and move on. Unfortunately, that isn't, the best thing in terms of, if you're stuck on a question, having to guess rather than being able to go back with time you have at the end of the exam. That is just something that the College Board says is not secure. So therefore, you won't be able to go back. That is the difference. A lot of people were asking me the difference between digital and in-person. And for the questions on this exam, the questions are going to be very similar. Some exams like AP Calculus or AP Statistics, there's going to be a difference in questions between the paper in-school exam and the digital, because at home, they cannot regulate whether you use a calculator on the exam. So they're going to modify the questions to say that, okay, well, even if you use a calculator, it's not going to help you. That's what they're going to be doing with the calculus and probably the statistics exam as well. And in computer science, there's no such thing, because you don't have like some other tool that you can use. So they won't really modify the types of questions that you'll see. Because I know I got a few comments on that in the last few days, asking that, are they going to be changing something, or will the questions be different from what we're used to? It shouldn't be. That is pretty much what I have seen. It should be very similar to previous exams. Now, moving on to the kind of the last section of this video, which is resources to prepare for the exam. If you're doing the Administration 2, there are a few days left before the exam, and I'm sure you've been doing a lot of practice already. If you are Administration 3, there's a few, about 2 weeks left. So kind of the way that I recommend going over and preparing for this exam is kind of reviewing each of the units. Again, you can either watch my videos, you can go to the course and exam description for the class, where they, talk about every single thing in detail for every unit. Another thing you can do is you can look up released multiple choice questions. Unfortunately, AP Computer Science doesn't really have any. There may be a released form from 2014, if I remember correctly, which if you look online, you may be able to find and do practice with. You can also go to the Computer Science course and exam description. I'll have that in a link in the video below. And at the end of that document, it's like a 100-page document, but at the end, there are actually a few practice questions which you can do in there. And those are multiple choice practice. And also, because the College Board created the AP Classroom site, that may also be very useful to kind of be able to see, questions that will be written by them and kind of maybe very similar to the exam. So if you have access to AP Classroom from your teacher, that is something that would be very useful. Unfortunately, because I already took AP Computer Science, I can't see AP Classroom, and I can't even see what types of questions are there. But from what I know, and from other classes as well, the questions are very similar to what you may see on an exam, because of course it is written by them. Now, For FRQ practice, there's actually a lot more practice you can do than even the multiple choice. And again, I really recommend this. If you scroll down, if you see here, you're on the about the, well, you can actually go to the about the exam section and scroll down a bit. You'll see that you have a few documents here. You have the AP Computer Science A exam free response question and scoring information archive. You also have this 2021 AP Computer Science A free response questions. Now, this, I'm not sure if this is actually the FRQ that they pretty much gave in Administration 1, because usually when they do the AP exam, again, last year was an exception, but usually a few days after you take the exam, they actually release the PDF of the question that they gave. And this very well, I'm not fully certain, but this very well could be the FRQ they gave this year 2 weeks ago. So this would actually be the most up-to-date practice. This is the, again, 2021 free response question for AP Computer Science. If you scroll down, you can see that it's 1 hour 30 minutes, 4 questions, and you can see question 1, which is of course methods and control structures. You can scroll down further and you should see question 2 right over here, and you can see at the bottom of question 2 it says write the complete combined table class. So this is the writing classes question. And then number 3 is the array and array list question. As you can see right here, there's an array. And then question 4 will be the two-dimensional array question, which you can see over here, two-dimensional array. So this would be great practice to do. Unfortunately, I don't believe have the answer key written yet and or kind of released yet, but this would be very good practice. In addition, you can look at this archive and they have the 2019 FRQ, the 2018 FRQ, 2017, all the way back until 1999. Now, I don't recommend actually doing the 1999 one because if you click on it, you can see that it is, not even in the same language. It's C++, so I would not do this one. But probably anything from 2010 onward would be very good practice. Preferably even 2016 onward would be the best practice for you to do for the AP exam. And very good FRQ practice because it's written by them and these are questions they actually gave. And they have, especially for 2019 and earlier, they actually have the scoring guidelines. So they have the answer key. And you can see, what you'll get penalties for, what you won't get penalties for. You'll be able to see how you get your points for each part of the question. So this is very, very good practice. And I also have a video on the FRQ and kind of doing well on the FRQ. So if you want to, feel free to check it out. It is also in the playlist. All right, everyone, that is it for this video talking about the 2021 AP Computer Science A exam. I do want to say that if this is the final video, especially before the second administration and maybe the third administration on this topic, I wish you great success and great luck for the exam. You guys will do very well, and all the resources are here. And you've also taken the class at least for a semester, or even for some people 2 semesters, depending on your school schedule. So you guys will do very well. And definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section of either this video or any of the AP Computer Science videos, and I will try my best to answer as quick as possible. If you have any questions on any content or maybe how, some strategies for the exam, feel free to ask. All right, everyone, if you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe for more content. And as always, thanks for watching. See you all in the next one.